Hi, Nikki again, and I am posting a video that is my personal experience, not to be used as medical advice. I'm going to introduce my diabetes to you. I'm going to try to do it in less than 2 minutes so people don't fall asleep. I am doing this because I've gone on a few sites and watched people's posts and everything else, and I can't possibly understand how some people are so like rocked by the 670 and some people are absolutely in love with it. Or I couldn't understand before, and now I actually think maybe I do kind of understand it. And after having used my calibration factor for a couple of days and seeing the difference between what happens when my blood sugar is stable all day by using my calibration factor and what happens when I have fluctuating blood sugar, because that's what I do without my calibration factor, my 670 does two different things for me. When I'm stable, my 670 is beautiful. When I am not stable, it is, like throwing rocks at me or, whatever it is. So I figured that if I'm posting videos about my 670, that I should introduce my diabetes to you. And my diabetes is probably a lot like a lot of people's and probably not much like some. So here it is. I do not have stable blood sugar almost ever, I don't think. And in fact, I don't think I could go a couple of hours of it just hanging out at a number, which I developed type 1 at 27 years old following my first pregnancy. It started off mild, I guess. I don't know if anybody starts off mild. I was doing finger sticks in the morning, even though my doctors told me to stop. And it was because my blood sugar was just above what they said was normal. So I continued to do it. And even though my blood sugar was like a 120 or something in the morning, it was outside the range that they consider normal. A couple months later, I get in, I have an A1C of a 9.3. And then they'd send me through some tests. I didn't know what was what. They said, you have type 1 diabetes. Here's insulin, go with it. So in the beginning, it was, I didn't know what I was doing. 12 years later, still didn't know what I was doing, right? And it turned out that my sugars were all over the place, and I've been through years that I blamed myself for it, and years that I probably was harmed, it was some self-harm because I didn't know what to do and refused to look and ate carbs and whatever because I was mad about the whole thing. I mean, so when it comes to my history, I've been all over the map. And I went through 1 year that I tasted copper in my mouth for a full year. Every bite of everything tasted like copper because my A1C at the time was a 16.4. And it turns out at 16.4, you taste copper. I don't know. And I crawled up and down the stairs because I didn't have any energy ever. Not one day, not morning, not night, not after coffee. So I've had been sick in the past. I have done diabulimia, not by choice, but because it kind of fell onto me. And it took me a while to realize that was going on. And then it took me a long time to sort that out. But I no longer do that. And I'd like to chat about that sometimes because me and my iPad hanging out chatting. Anyway, these videos that I post about the 670 are coming from a diabetic who has I'm going to call them volatile blood sugars. I mean, I have gone out for a walk, a 1 hour walk, where I did insulin, but I left at a 550 and I came back at a 40. And that is no exaggeration. A 550 blood sugar, not 550 in the morning. I mean, that's no exaggeration. The other 2 days ago, I went from a 250 to a 150 in a matter of 15 minutes. And I had done a correction bolus, but it had been a very, conservative correction bolus. And I was blown away by it because I don't look that often in general. Anyway, so those who watch these videos and think either she's fanatic or she's crazy, which is always a possibility, and you don't even know me, but that's not why I'm doing these things. I'd like to not be doing these things. I just would like to have control over my blood sugar now. And the more I hear about all the crap that can happen if I don't, the more I'm like, okay, I'm a grown up now, for a while. So I can do this. I am 4.5 minutes into it. That's my diabetes. And all of these things, auto mode flips on me because I have volatile blood sugars. And when my sugars are stable for 2 days straight, using the calibration factor, auto mode is fantastic. It's my best friend. So that's it. And now I'm going to post back to back videos about why I love this calibration factor thing. And I'm hoping that somebody out there can use it to track what their kids' blood sugar is doing, their own, their mother's, their, I don't know. I think there's a lot of good in it. So have a great evening and thanks for watching. Bye.